Hi guys, David from Thrifty Mechanic here to help you with some awesome hints to get started in the automotive field. Today we're going to be talking about scan tools, the different kinds of scan tools and exactly what goes into why they're important in our field. Every single technician in our field today uses one. If they make any money in this field that they do professionally, they use one. Now, what a scan tool is it connects to your DLC OBD2 port. The DLC is the data link connection, and it uses a 16-pin connector. It's under every driver's seat, not driver's seat, but in the driver's side, under the dash somewhere, to where you can easily access it. It's mandated to do that. So basically, each one of these pins, a lot of them are not active, but they all serve a purpose, and they all release certain kinds of info to the scan tool. This one is an Autel AutoLink. This is a nicer one of like just the code readers. This one actually does live data. There are other ones out there that are even crazier. There's multiple brands. There's OTC, Snap-on Mac, Encore from OTC. But OTC, Snap-on, and Mac are normally the big ones that you'll mess with. Autel is making themselves kind of known in the field. I mean, Autel is definitely more price effective than a Snap-on, because I think the Veris right now is like $10,000, and the Autel for the actual full-size scan tool is about $2,000, I think. So I mean, it's definitely more price effective to go with an Autel, but you give up some functions as well. An Autel doesn't have a scope, whereas the Veris does, and different things like that. So what are they? What are they for? Well, as of 1996, every single car in the U.S. is required to have something called OBD2, which is Onboard Diagnostic Second Generation. Cars pre-1996, like 95, 94, 93, they are OBD1, and they're normally manufacturer specific. It was kind of like a test game to see exactly how well OBD would work in the cars. It became very popular, and it worked very well to learn and diagnose cars more efficiently, because back in the 80s and the 70s, before OBD, it was basically, you had to know your stuff or you never made any money in this field. Now, you have neat little tools like this to make your job a lot easier in comparison to what it would have been 20 or 30 years ago. So, why do we use them? Well, cars have tons of sensors. If you get under a car nowadays, like a 2012 or something, you're going to see wires everywhere. You're going to see something connected to something almost anywhere you look. So, all those are sensors, connectors for other sensors. It's just, there's tons, hundreds of sensors in a car. And if you ever go through a car with one of these, you'll see every single sensor as long as this is able to read them. So what I like about this one is it's kind of cost effective. It's about $250, $300, something like that. And I think that's even a good deal for one of these. But it does live data, and that's really important when you're trying to diagnose certain functions of a car, like mass airflows or IATs, or you're trying to look at voltages, or if you're trying to diagnose a bad O2 sensor or a bad catalytic converter. That's where live data comes into play, because these will make a bad catalytic converter stand out, because when you're looking at a downstream and an upstream, the upstream, if you're looking at it on a scope, will be making sine waves. It'll be analog sine waves. And when you look at the downstream one, it should be a lazy river. It shouldn't be erratic sine waves. It should be a lazy river. So if it's a lazy river, your catalytic converter's working just fine. If it's following similar or exactly just like the first sensor, the upstream, you got a bad catalytic converter. You'll need to get a new one, or else you're not going to be making really good fuel economy. It will start affecting your fuel economy. Now, with that being said, these scan tools are actually really, really cool, because you have no batteries to replace. It goes based off the battery power of your car. So, like, while that's helpful, it can also be a downside if you have a weak battery in the car. So you always want to either hook up a battery charger while you're using these things if you know the car has a weak battery, or you want to make sure that you have a jump pack ready in the event that you need to jump start your car. So why do we use them? Well, the main thing is to help give us an idea of what we're looking at. Like, you could say a no crank, no start could be a million different things, especially with how many sensors are going on in a car. We could have a crank sensor out. We could have a fuel injector that's clogged and it's throwing a code or something like that. These help read that, and these help kind of point us in the right direction so we can start testing other things to narrow down what we're looking at. And it's really important to have one of these. Every shop in the 21st century should have a good scan tool or a good code reader. At the minimum, you need something with live data. If you're wanting to do any kind of imports, you need an actual scan tool that has like VTech tests, fuel system testing, be able to test and open up relays, especially if you're looking to do like ABS specific work. A lot of stuff is really manufacturer specific, and that's why I like Autel, because for a significantly less amount of money goes into this. You might pay $2,000 for a full-size Autel Maxi DOS, and that's just a down payment on a Verus from Snap-on, or the Encore. That you'll buy an Encore for $4 or $5,000, and you'll have to put up with that and have to pay to have it updated every year. As with the Autel, you pay a little bit and have it updated every year. So, I mean, there's downsides. The Autel is going to be a little bit slower in areas where the Encore will be like that. Like the Encore, it has direct connections to IATN, which is a technician's assistance network. It basically, if you got an issue with a certain car, you can kind of look it up. It's like a forum. You can also connect to Identifix and everything else. Identifix actually purchased IATN not that long ago, and they kind of took over the whole database. And so that's really helpful. You can also get connected to a bunch of other awesome websites through Encore and OTC. So with that being said, like everyone has their downsides and everyone has their perks. Like Autel, they don't have any specific like IATNs or pro demands or anything like that. They are on their own. They are a standalone company when it comes to that. And you're going to have to pick and choose your poison on it, because you need a scan tool. If you're looking to diagnose any kind of newer cars, you're going to need a scan tool. It's not just going to be your multimeter sitting there testing each and every one of your fuel injectors, because you're going to be chasing your tail. And if you work flat rate, chasing your tail is never fun. You're going to lose money every time. You want to get there, get what you need to know, and get started and do the repair so you can make as much money as possible. So, with each maker comes a certain set of challenges. It's you have to be able to maneuver, and when it comes to user-friendly interfaces, I would definitely say the Autel has the best, because it's very straightforward. When you log on to a full Autel scanner like the Maxi DOS, it will just take you straight. You can either hit Asian, European, or USA. If you're working on like Chevys or something, USA obviously. And that gets really important, because you know that a Honda's a Japanese car. So you click Asian, you click Honda, it does auto ID, so that's really helpful too. It goes based off the VIN, unlike the Snap-ons, where you actually sometimes have to get that K20 key out and put it into the Snap-on reader so that you can do your thing. It does it automatically. It auto IDs, and that's definitely a perk with these. But the one downside is it may not have the same kind of special functions as a Snap-on does, because when you pay $10,000 for a scan tool, you're going to get a lot of extra perks with that. A scope does not cost $10,000. You can get a good scope for $500. So it's one of those things, like, you got to pick and choose your poisons. And if you're looking to be a little thriftier, but you're still looking to get the job done, and Autel is definitely the way to go. It's useful, it does its job, and it is a great tool. I like it. I mean, this isn't mine. This is actually my shop's. I brought it home today to do some work on my own car. So it's really, really useful. I love the thing. I use it all the time at work. Now, there are going to be some downsides to each one. Is every single year you're going to have to pay to have it updated to the new model year. So, like, it's 2016 now, so you don't have to pay for 2017 until they release the new 2017 update, which it'll ping you for as soon as you get it, because it's connected to your Wi-Fi. Now, that can get kind of pricey, especially if you're looking into some trouble. I mean, if you're a fully certified shop, you're ASE certified, you're going to have people bringing in brand new cars for you to service, and that's important for you to have. And you don't want to lose money all because you didn't spend a little bit to update your tools. And yeah, it kind of sucks, but as with everything, you have to spend money to make money. And if you want a good recommendation from me, the Autels, the whole line of Autel scan tools, don't just get a regular code reader, because that can give you an idea, but it won't give you nearly enough information. Don't just get a code reader with ID or live data. Get a full-size scan tool. If you can afford to spend the $1,000, $2,000 on a scan tool, but you can't spend any more, get an Autel full-size Maxi DOS scan tool. I think it's a 708. So it might seem like a big investment, but you'll be glad you did it as soon as you start using it, and all of a sudden jobs that would take you 2 or 3 hours to diagnose take you 20, 30 minutes. You're going to save yourself a lot of money and a lot of time. So I'm David from the Thrifty Mechanic. Keep your eyes out for good tools. Throw any ideas you want in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.